Hello everybody, it's Friday. That means it's time for another topic of the week. So, first things first, last week's topic. The first time we did the vendors we love, I was glad to see the reaction was so positive. I hope a lot of people hit up Mini Stomp. He's an awesome dude, and was happy to share him. But what I was really happy about was seeing all the people share, especially like their local area stores and sort of vendors that they go to, and giving a shout out. That's awesome. Because I think wherever we are all around in sort of the world, like there's these vendors that we all have that are near us who go above and beyond, who are awesome people, and we should be supporting those local people in the community. So there's nothing better than giving a shout out. I hope if you're looking for something, go check out the comment on those videos. That one's linked down below as always. Check that out. No matter where you are, some people link some stuff for Australia, obviously the UK, around Europe, etc. So check it out. But this week I want to continue the conversation we had on Warhammer Weekly, and that is about magic in AOS 2.0. Specifically, I want to talk about the endless spells this week. So there's been a couple. The endless spells are really interesting. Obviously, they're a completely new element added to the game, in that we have this physical magic wandering around the board. They have an interesting control mechanism. What's funny is that I don't think they sort of bifurcate into two groups. And those two groups are the predatory stuff, the things that do damage. All of which I think are the less scary ones, because they can naturally be taken over by your opponent, right? And so as a result, they have a self-balancing mechanism to them, because the scarier they are, if your opponent can also gain control of it, the scarier it is to you. It sort of travels commensurately, right? And moreover, if you have at least two of them out, your opponent's definitely getting control of one of them. That's just the way it works, because of the alternating control. Whereas then the other group is like the utility endless spells, the things that sort of stick around but don't fall under control of your opponent necessarily. So like the Balewind Vortex and the Time Turner, as we call it, the cogs, you know, the spell portal. Although the spell portal can be used by your opponent, it's, you know, not exactly the same thing. You have more control over it than they do. Those are the ones that I find myself more concerned about. I've already seen people posting, you know, sort of combos and things that are there about how they see that they'll be able to break these things. I think probably the spell portal and the Time Turner are the ones that concern me the most. Especially the portal, obviously, because it will allow, you know, strange things to happen, like Nagash, Hand of Dusting, Hand of Dusting people in turn 1 off the table. That's, you know, on the other side of the board. That's obviously scary. And although it is just a coin flip on that, so all you got to do to beat that is just pick the right hand that has the dice in it. Come on, people, be better hand pickers. Jeez. But so there's a lot of interesting sort of ramifications to these. I think on the whole, I'm much more excited for them than I am worried about them. That's what I'll say. Because in the end, even though I know some people have had some consternation over them and have talked about how, well, there's this broken combo or this thing, or this might be slightly bent or whatever. I don't find myself that worried about that, and I will tell you why. Because my pretty strong feeling is the game is still net positive for having them. They're really cool models. They look awesome on the table. They are going to be fun to move around. They're going to be fun to like get control of your enemy spell. The first time you get control of something your enemy cast and you steer it back into their line and kill some of their models, that's going to feel great, right? Because stuff like that is just fun. At least to me it is. Even if it's, by the way, the other way around. If somebody gets control of my spell and steers it back through me, I'm going to laugh maniacally. But the... And if there are sort of elements that become beardy, or whatever you want to say, then I have the strong feeling it'll just be adjusted. And what I mean by that is either they'll change the points to be costed appropriately, or they'll update the scroll, or they'll FAQ it, or whatever. Because the reality is, that's what they've been doing. Things don't sit around really broken for long, with very few exceptions. Like, there was a few weird things that's kind of stuck maybe a little longer than they should have, but that is now the exception. the rule has become that these things are addressed pretty quick, and I've already seen, they reshared out the, this is where you send your inquiries for errata and FAQ. These things get published out really fast. That's what gives me the level of confidence to be excited for these things. Because then I know that sort of, even if something's askew, hopefully it'll be brought skew? Unskewed? I don't know what the opposite of that is. Soon enough. So what I want to know is, what do you think about Endless Spells? And what's your favorite model out of the group? What's your favorite spell out of the group? Because I doubt they're the same thing. Like, for me, my favorite model, and I mean, I doubt I'm alone on this, is certainly the big chompy jaws. I find them to be totally awesome looking. I also, as a secondary, really do like that Suffocating Gravetide. I utterly hate that Endless Spell. Like, I think the scroll is no good. But that Suffocating Gravetide spell looks sweet. That's a cool model. Honestly, I was like, I'm probably never going to cast that. I wonder if I could cut that up and use that for basing on, like, a cool death model. But, that's just how I think. I'm always looking for more basing supplies. But, that to the side, I think those are my favorite models. Spell-wise, I'm the most excited. Like, I stand behind this. I know that the portal and the cogs and that stuff are really powerful, and certainly I think the cogs are good. And I'm just excited for those swords. Something about those swords have enraptured me. I love their ability to reach out and pew 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 little swords at people. All I can think of when I picture them working in the game is like Link's sword. Link's inexplicable shooty sword. I should have... Oh man, I really missed a joke there. I could have called him Zelda the whole time and pretended like I didn't know who Zelda was. That's a shame. Oh well. But anyways, Link's little shooty sword that shoots for no reason at all. It probably does have a reason. I don't know anything about Zelda lore. But anyways, I feel like we've gone off topic. The point of this is that I love the Quicksilver swords. I think those are my favorite spell because it's cheap. When I write a lot of my lists, I find I'm not leaving a ton of room for endless spells. But I find I often have like 20 points. So those things that are 20 points, like the shackles and the swords, I find I usually fit those in the list. In sort of the test lists I've been doing. It just seems like I'm one who really loves to have a lot of models in the army. Well, a lot of models is the wrong answer. Like, I like to fill up my 2,000 points with stuff. There you go. Not the spells. So I go for the cheaper spells. Like, I can't picture myself ever putting Purple Sun in an army. Also, I don't like that model. On the list of, like, my least favorite models, that has to be Purple Sun and the actual Shackles. One of the best effects, one of the worst models. There's a little Shackles. I've already been trying to figure out how I'm going to convert those to make more Shackles and make them more impressive. But there you go. So, that's what I want to know. Have you built some sample lists? Are you going to try to fit them in? Are you excited about them? What's your favorite spell? What's your favorite model? As always, drop it down in the comments, your feelings on Endless Spells. Or make a response video. If you do, drop that link, and I will link it down in the description so you can always return back to this video and see any response videos. But as always, appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.